Good morning. April 15th, 2019. There isn't going to be sun for a while today. It got cold down in the 30s last night. It's supposed to be in the 70s though the next few days. I was out walking around the woods yesterday and the morels will be coming. We're getting very close. It's still kind of wet and muddy, but all that rain and then this warm up, water's starting to clear up in the lakes and rivers, streams. So things are changing. Evolution. It's an interesting thing. When I talk about evolution, people always think of Darwin and Charles Darwin and his ideas on evolution and the theory of evolution. And there's a whole discipline of philosophy that does evolution and ethics, if you will. And this is part of epistemology, which is like theory of knowledge, or from where it all comes, where all the knowledge comes. Just like linguistics, would study, or a linguist would study where language came from. These are known as ontologies, theories of things. In religious texts, it would be hermeneutics, the study of religious texts from where they came, how it was conveyed. And the idea with evolution and ethics is to think about something like Darwin, and although it's impossible to imagine human beings coming from a one-celled amoeba, which some people believe, literally, that's not exactly it. I mean, you got to remember Darwin, just like Einstein's theory of relativity, is 70-some pages long. It's not complete. It's never been finished. It's a theory, and Darwin's theory of evolution is a damn good one, but it doesn't mean humans evolved from a one-celled amoeba. Now, interestingly, if you look at Darwin, I remember, for those of you around West Milton, all you friends, Mr. Hauser, biology teacher, our freshman year in high school, my first biology paper for him was a fusion of Darwinism and creationism. So I didn't have an atheist angle to evolution in that essay. I had an angle to the idea that perhaps the God utilized evolution to bring about things and change somehow. And at that age, I wasn't saying things like, well, God's a divinity, we're mortals, and we can't explain it all the way. I hadn't got that far yet. But I remember seeing Mr. Hauser, Chucky Hauser, God love Mr. Hauser, and at a reunion, I don't know, about 20 years ago, it was one of them in the middle, and he said, I remember that essay you wrote where you fused creationism and Darwinism. And, I got an A+, of course, but he was like, now they call it intelligent design. So he said, your theory in 1977 stands apart before the others. And that was interesting. Yeah, giving a little shameless self-promotion there with the aid of Mr. Hauser. That's pretty cool, though, really, when you think about it. I think I was always wrapped a little too tight, hopefully in a good way. Hope it's wrapped tight here in the next few days when I start fishing and looking for morels more. But the idea of evolution in ethics and philosophy is to see theories of knowledge from where it comes to what we do. So we might take it as how we behave in nature with respect to the animals, the plants, the rocks, right down to the sand. Even sand we can turn into glass and other things. Because Heidegger would tell us we're all beings with a little b, but we all have big B being. A human animal has big B being, an animal, a plant, everyone. So a daffodil has big B being as a flower, but it is a little b being on the planet, just like I have big B being and you have big B being. And but we are beings with a small case b on earth, right along with the plants and animals, the other animals. And I always like to say, we're stewards of nature. Humans are stewards of nature. We are human animals. We are the animal's animal. And my animals love this. My rhino, my polar bear, and my koala. And by the way, the writing's going really well right now. It's just a thing. Can't wait to get it done. Finally getting to the end. Only took about 25 years working full time. Nonetheless, a book about animals endangered and being killed for nonsensical reasons. And the reality is we hope to change that a little maybe, let alone do a little bit of entertaining and bring us back to reading somewhat. But with respect, talk about evolution of life. If you don't read, you'll never evolve. I tell students this all the time. I know you may hate reading, but you better start loving it because you got to read or you won't know. The media isn't going to tell you. And neither is just the world. You have to dig for your own. And this is part of the evolutionary process. So evolution in ethics, to get back to the hard subject here, is the idea that as we evolve, people get the impression that evolution happened, we're humans, we've evolved, and that's it. No, we're evolving every day, every minute, every second of every day. We are technically evolving. Now, oftentimes we're too tired to care about evolution, and some people believe they feel like they are dissolving instead of evolving. And I understand disillusion, right? Dissolving and disillusion of the mind, right? But the reality is those moments are not the best time to contemplate existence, right? You got to be awake and ready. Green tea helps. Nonetheless, the pursuit of the philosopher or any human existing within nature, trying to build within nature, not on top of nature, should be to understand their position in life with respect to all other beings. And then we got to look at the human evolutionary process. We've built things like Hoover Dam, the Niagara Power Plant. These things we've built, so many things. But we have to take away the concrete, the glass, the steel, and the asphalt, and look at the world bare like it was when Tecumseh was here, before the bridges. When the federal government came in and had all the Native American tribes sign the treaty, the Shawnee were the only ones who stood back and said no. And this would have been Cornstalk, Tecumseh's father, Chief Cornstalk. There's a battle at Gallipolis, Point Pleasant, where over 1,000 Shawnee died in one day. Cornstalk, Tecumseh's father. Nonetheless, the reality was Cornstalk told Tecumseh, don't ever surrender our people's land and way of life. And after he died, Tecumseh, and you need to look at the circumstance. Of course, it was a brutal death for Cornstalk, but it's the way it was. Anyway, the evolutionary process stopped for the Shawnee because of outsiders. Now, we can't have that in our own personal life. Outsiders shouldn't control your evolution. Neither should the government. Neither should anything. You should control it. Sounds like mind control. It is. It's personal mind control. The evolutionary process as rational animals over all the other animals, plants, and rocks right down to the sand has shown us our abilities for many, many years. Every now and then nature will come along with a tornado, a hurricane, a wildfire, and remind us who's really in charge. It's not us. We're in charge of living within nature and protecting ourselves as best we can, and we've done that pretty well, but we need to do better. So the evolutionary process of mind goes on forever. It's not just about evolution in a species or all species. It's about all existence, all beings on Earth, anything with life, and us, right down to the moss and the lichens. Yeah, the lichens like it when you talk about them. Right down to the earth. That's us. We're in charge of it all. We're stewards of Earth, stewards of nature. Our evolutionary process should denote rationality in that manner. So when fracking materials from oil drilling are being dumped in the Gulf of Mexico, we know something's wrong. When civilian casualties caused by our military aren't reported any longer during war, we're doing it wrong. when EPA standards are relaxed just to make it easier on us, which I understand some constrictions were bizarre, and it hurts the ozone layer, and we know it, that's not good. And that has nothing to do with global warming. Nature's cyclical, you know. People just reactionary. And nature's cyclical, people are reactionary. They're not noticing the evolutionary process because they're caught up in making money or whatever matters to them right now. The day comes when you make minds to make a living. Your own mind. Your body, your spirit, right? From your soul, your spirit flows and follows. The old statement in Vietnam, right? Free your mind, your ass will follow. Reality. Gotta have a little profanity. It's only god-dang Monday. I hope y'all have a good week. Take care, y'all. Easter approaches. Remember JC, nailed to a tree by his own people. Others turned their heads. Son of God, purple and gold, King of Kings. Think about it. Why? Still happens. Mob rules. Mobs that don't know evolution, their own, or ethics, are scary. Peace to everybody. Take care, y'all. Peace out.